Welcome into another episode of They've Got Now. I'm really excited to be joined today by a New Jersey legend, somebody who's been a big part of one of the royal families of Notre Dame women's basketball. That's Michaela Mabrey. Mike, first and foremost, how you doing today?
I'm great. It's a great day. Had a nice morning. Worked out. We got practice a little bit later and excited to get the week going. We got Georgia Tech this week. They're a great team. So
Yeah.
excited for that matchup.
Yeah, two teams that run Princeton at a really high level in different ways. So it's going to be really fun to dive into and kind of see what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first thing that I have to ask, are you aware of your sister's current cooking debacle that has been all over the internet? Because
On
I
TikTok.
can't go 5 seconds without seeing something about it. So
And she recently like really got into TikTok and
yeah,
recently like got into cooking. Like I got her I had her for Christmas actually, and I got her like that Ninja Creamy
yeah,
thing. And like she loves it. She cooks everything. And yeah, it's all over TikTok. She loves Unrivaled. She loves just like being on social media now. Don't know where that came from, but great.
yeah.
We love it. But yeah, she is Dijonay's got her some new seasonings and she's trying new things. You know what? I'm just happy that she's branching out and she's talking to a lot of people and she's having a great time. And if that entails cooking shows and hanging with Jackie and figuring all that out, then that's cool with me. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's good to see the branch out. That's what Miami's all about, I guess.
literally
Um,
living in Miami, you branch out.
100%.
The
Um,
weather, I think it's the weather. I think the
oh
weather
yeah, I mean, hey,
it gives you a good vibe about yourself every day.
she
So
doesn't have a foot and a half of snow outside, so
nope,
that
she
helps
doesn't.
for sure.
She doesn't.
Speaking on this season though, and just kind of where you guys are at, obviously, very. I mean, I know you guys had very high expectations for this season, and still do, of course. Have you kind of been able to let it sink in yet? Like it's already like what, shoot, it's gonna be 5 games into ACC play, 6 games, I guess. Where it's at, just kind of everything coming together. Obviously dealing with injuries early on in the year, but kind of experiencing some of those highs and lows, and then getting to where we're at now.
Yeah.
Um, where are you kind of feeling with that, and where the team's at currently?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I literally just was with Los and I was like, I cannot believe it's January 14th.
Yeah.
I feel like this season goes by really, really fast. And I think my New Year's resolution actually was to stay as present as I possibly can. This team is really special and we know that. Um, and I think one of the hardest things is to stay present because you're always looking towards the next thing. And um, you know, I, I'm really happy with where we're at. I think we're just adding Maddie into the mix of things, which is incredible. Like, I'm so happy that she's back and, we're going to figure that out as it goes. And I feel really grateful to be where we are. I think we had an incredible non-conference schedule that really tested us to see where we were. And I feel like we exceeded that. And, with ACC play, every team is good. Every team is coming to beat us. And I think we need to understand that and know that we're everybody's Super Bowl. Everyone's going to give us their best game, and I think that helps us. I think that challenges us every game, and like I said, I'm really happy with where we are, and I think adding Maddie in right now, with how good she is and how experienced she is, from a post standpoint, is only going to make us better. And I'm really excited to see where we go from here with everybody coming back. We got our full team healthy. We haven't seen our full team since recently. So, and I think being at full health will just boost us even more. So I'm really excited to see where we go from here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, you could kind of see the fruits of where everything could be in like July, when
Yeah.
everything came together, and now
Yeah.
getting to actually see it on court is kind of nice, right? Like you
It
can picture
is.
all that stuff in your head, and then
Yeah.
every single game is just in the back of your mind, like, yeah, we're playing nice, but like, what does this look like when we put everything all
Right.
together? And it's like, so it's
Right.
kind of cool to finally get to see that happen on court. Um,
Yeah.
a big reason I want to talk to you though is like I think it's interesting because you have a really unique perspective on this program, obviously having played here,
Yeah.
having coached here for quite some time now,
Mhm.
um, and getting to just really see how everything has obviously, Notre Dame hitting its highest when you were here
Yeah.
at the beginning, to now kind of getting back to that level under
Mhm.
Niele. Um, can you like again, I know like especially in terms of the being present aspect, have you been able to
Yeah,
really kind of sit and think about that a little bit? Because obviously, I mean, you probably know Niele for an
yeah,
incredibly long time, having been there
yeah,
when she was an assistant as well. But like, um, yeah, just like kind of walk us through that. Have you been able to really sit and think about like, wow, okay, it's really kind of come roundabout after,
yeah.
with Niele coming back and getting everything to where it's going.
Yeah, I think I think it's so crazy. I have thought about it. I've thought about it deeply, actually. Um, I always say like you always kind of like when you grow up, you have a plan in your head of like how you want your life to go, right?
Yeah.
And I always say like God's plan is always better than mine because I always had a plan of where I wanted to be at a certain age and what I wanted to be doing, and it just turned out so much better than that. And that's just all because of God. And I feel really grateful to be where I am and to be with who I am. I mean, to be with who I'm with because like you said, like I've known Niele since I was 16 years old. You know, she recruited me. I've known CO since I'm 16 years old. I've known Charlotte since I was 16 years old. And like so many people that I'm around, I consider my family, you know, like Niele and CO and Charlotte. Like these are people that have seen me grow up. And to throw like my sisters into it, it's like it's been such a blessing to be here and to see this program go through the ups and downs, right? And I've been a part of a lot of it, you know, like I've been a part of championship teams, Final Four teams, and then I come back and we were on a low. We were on a low when I first got back with Coach McGraw, and then when Niele took over. Um, and you dream about being back at the top. You pray about being back at the top, but you try to stay present because all that adversity and all those things that you went through during that time just teach you a lot. It teaches you a lot about coaching. It's taught me a lot about myself as a person, as a coach, and to now like be on the other side of it. That's why I'm trying to stay so present because I've dreamed and prayed about being where I am right now. And it's hard because you're always looking towards the next thing. So I'm trying my hardest, like I said, to be present because I've prayed and dreamed about being exactly where I am right now. With this team, with Niele and CO and the staff that I'm around and my people and my family, like it's a blessing. It really is. I'm so grateful to be where we are right now, and I'm so grateful for everything, all the hard times, the losses, the adversity that we went through as teams and as staffs. And I'm grateful for all of it because I am where I am because of all that right now. And I'm just grateful. Like I said, I'm so happy to be here with this team and with the staff, and I'm trying to stay present through all of it.
Yeah, no, I love that because that's definitely something I've been trying to work on in my life too. Is just like, how do I?
Hard, it's hard,
Yeah, no, exactly. I feel like
really
that's.
hard.
I've tried to. I don't know. Like people will tell you about it, but then like you get to your mid 20s, it's like, oh wow, yeah, this really is kind of hard to like not just be
Yeah,
like I don't know, because I try and when I talk to like my mentors and like people I
yeah,
really look up to, like, well, I really want to be here, and like, yeah, but dude, like, I didn't get this job till I was like 31, 32. I'm like.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like 5 years from now, dude. But like,
yeah,
so trying to remember
yeah.
those things is like key, but work
And
in
you think
progress for
about
sure.
yeah, and you think about like you always wanted to be like where you are right now. Like I've
Hmm.
always wanted to be here, and I'm here, and I'm just trying to be here. Like but it's hard. Like it really is hard. Like sometimes you got to catch yourself and be like, okay, Mike, like you're right here. You're right now. You're right here. There's nothing else. Just be where your feet are. You can only be right here. So I think it's easier said than done. But I'm really, really like I know how fast it goes. I know how fast every season goes. And I was sitting here in October, like, I can't believe it's October. Like, I
Yeah.
now I can't believe it's November. I can't believe we're in the middle of January, and it just like I know how fast it goes and I know how fast it's gonna go. And um I'm just like I said, this is a very special year and I know that and I feel it. So I'm taking it all in day by day.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of going off that, I think it's I've been thinking a lot about Niel's first year just in general lately because um, I feel like in some ways it was that year. I don't want to say like got swept under, but like I think it's easy to kind of like forget that year happened just because of how crazy
Yeah.
everything was with COVID.
Yeah.
But just thinking, especially like, I've really gotten to see like Sonia, Olivia, Maddie, all
Yeah.
of them kind of grow up from that,
Yeah.
obviously that first season. If you could kind of put into words like what that, if you can look back and think about like what the work has been to get from where that point was, when Niele first came in,
Yeah.
you retain on staff and obviously keep going from there.
Yeah.
Like can you kind of like what does that feel like recognize like, wow, shoot, that's 4 years ago already, almost even longer.
Yeah. That was such a hard year.
Yeah,
Um, I think like obviously like COVID was, I can't believe it was 4 years ago, but
yeah,
it was such
feels,
a
yeah,
difficult time for everyone. And then to have Niele get the job in the midst of all of it and being, we were all separated. You know what I mean? Like I was in Jersey, everybody is all over the place and and even though I did know Niele, right? Like it wasn't like I didn't know her, but she's moved into a new position. So you're kind of everybody's trying to figure out everything while we're all in separate places. Um, and then she did an incredible job getting Sony and Liv and retaining Maddie, like those key pieces that we knew we needed to at least start building what we knew we could do. Um, and it was just really hard. That whole year was just, you were just trying to figure it out, like, and making sure you were keeping your kids at the forefront of everything through all of it because it was such a difficult time mentally for everyone. Um, so it was really just trying to establish our culture and trying to figure out exactly what the pieces we needed to build the puzzle to a championship team. And I think from the first year to now year 5 with Niele, you see it. You completely see the growth in what we've put together to build the puzzle. Um, and none of it's been perfect. None of it has, but we've figured out what we need, and how we need to coach them. And the game has evolved so much. The girls have evolved so much. It's a completely different generation than it was 5 years ago. You throw NIL in, you throw a different type of kid in now. Like it's completely changed from 5 years ago. Our recruiting has changed from 5 years ago. Like you have to adapt or else you get left behind. So I think there's so many different things that have changed in the last 5 years that we've adapted and we've figured out exactly the type of player that we need and person, type of young woman, type of family, type of kid that we need to build a championship team and say, hey, we have a Final Four team this year. And it's incredible to see the growth. It's incredible to be on the journey with Niele through it all. And like I said, I think we've built up to that point and it's exciting to finally to be here.
yeah. I think a big reason I want to bring that up is because exactly like I think I think so often people just, again, like when a year like that happens, when there is so much change and you're kind of morphing and figuring things out, people are like, oh, well, it's Notre Dame, like, Notre Dame, like the
Yeah.
program name kind of carries more than what
Mhm.
that year is in a way. And I think, you look at this year and I mean, obviously this year doesn't happen without having that season and the
Yeah.
basis it built. But exactly like you said, I think kind of tying it back in with being present, like,
Mhm.
it's easy to forget all the things you
It
had to
is.
do to get
Yeah.
to this point and kind of build that up. So I thought it's just been really interesting to look back and think on that because also like, how was it that long ago? But,
I
um,
know. And it's crazy that like Liv, Sony, and Maddie, they're they're seniors, they're grads, like this could be it. So it's so um incredible to see their growth and that they stuck with it. Like they stuck with it and saw the vision and saw what we could be, and I'm so grateful, and I know Niele is too, to have their loyalty and to know that they've they've come from there to here now. Like they've been on the same journey that we've been on, and they've seen it and they've been a part of it, and they believed and they grew and they're finally here, and
yeah,
they have such a bright future ahead of them. But again, it's about being present. It's about being
yeah,
present right now, knowing that their future is super bright at the next level.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think part of what's fun with that too is like, I think, out of any athlete I've ever met, Sony might be the best at that aspect. Like I
Yeah,
think and I mean it in the best way too. Like I just think she is like so good at being tapped out of the outside noise of stuff.
yeah,
Like
she
I
is.
think it's pretty special
Mhm.
to have that mindset at that age. Um, but I really wanted to talk to you about Sony because like
Mhm.
I can have my own perspective and like having known her
Yeah,
and looking to see her journey. But like for you, obviously having been her position coach, being
yeah,
around her as often as you are, like I think one of the things that gets like, I mean, she gets called underrated all the time, and I get that. I think part of it is she is definitely a very quiet person if you don't know her.
yeah,
But like, I also get frustrated with it too because I think there's an aspect of like the people who call her underrated, the people could also probably rate her, but that's another discussion.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like, I think in general, especially in the W, in college basketball, just in general, like there is a I don't think people quite get wing players sometimes, like the
yeah,
value that they can bring, what
yeah.
they can do developmentally, and that's something that I've tried to like find ways to explain to people, particularly having come from more of the NBA side. Like I
Mhm.
just see Sony, I think about possibilities, and everything she could do at the next level. And like, I mean, I was talking to Maddie the other day. She was
Mhm.
like, people don't see it, but like Sony has the deepest bag on the team, but she just
Yeah.
like is never trying to do too much out on the court.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. How do you kind of quantify that when thinking about what that means for the next level? Because I think like again, I think there's so much more to her game than meets the eye sometimes, or that you really need to slow things down and review a possession. But yeah,
Yeah. I think I think people are now, especially at the next level, like the W, people know her value because when you play on a great team with a lot of great players, I mean, we have 5 to 6 players that could score 20 every single night.
absolutely.
That's the same exact thing that you see in the W. It's the same thing. You have great players. They're all great. So can you be in a role that you can still fulfill and be adaptive to what they need? And that's exactly what she's doing. It's exactly what she's doing. And I think that people notice that. People know how good she is, and she can be adaptive to a great team and be incredibly unselfish. And she's always been that way. That's how Sonia is. She's been that way since I've known her. She's very unselfish. She doesn't want to do too much. She wants to do whatever the team needs, she's going to do. And she has a super high basketball IQ. She gets it. She is mature. She wants to get better all the time. She understands herself in what she needs to do to feel ready for every game, for what the next level entails. She understands it. And I think that she might be underrated, but I think people are, especially like when you look at the next level, like you asked, like they understand how valuable she is. Because if you just watch one of our games, she does so many things that you don't, that fly under the radar. Like you said, they might not be on a stat sheet, but she's guarding the best players every night. She's grabbing rebounds. She's doing things that necessarily, like I said, don't show up on the stat sheet and aren't like, oh my God, wow. But she is incredible, like in what she does, and does it with the same intention every day, which is, what do I need to do for us to win? That's it. What do I got to do? And if I say, Sony, that means you got to shoot the ball 20 times. All right, cool. Bet I'll do that. I'll do that 20 times. But that's growth for her. That's growth. Because if you talk to her freshman year, it was like pulling her teeth to shoot the ball. And I was saying, you're so unselfish, but by you not shooting the ball, you're being selfish because you're not doing what we need you to do and what you're great at. And she's grown in that since then and understanding what that looks like. Um, and Sony just gets better. She gets better. She puts the work in. She knows we have plans every single off season of what she needs to do to get better. What are the 3 things we need to do to make sure that you're ready? And this year there was a lot more talk about, okay, what does it look like that you need to get better for now and what you need to get better for next year? And her growth is incredible, but I think that when you talk to W coaches, they understand what Sony is and who she is as a player, and how valuable she is and how she's so incredibly adaptive and to who she plays with. And she can play with 5 great players. She's doing it right now. They all are. So it's something that is incredible for a W coach to see is you can play around great players and still be effective and still be dominant in your own way and have that role that every single person on the team needs to be successful, whether you do have 5 or 6 dominant players. Everybody still has a role that they need to fulfill in order for us to win. Same thing at the W level. So um Sony's so important to us. She knows that. She feels that. And um she's just an incredible player and an incredible person and someone who's just so easy to coach. So and I can't wait for what next year the W brings her.
Yeah, that makes two of us. To close out too, you hit on it a little bit earlier, talking about how much things have evolved even just in the last 5 years as a
Yeah.
program. I wanted to ask from like a play style standpoint. Like obviously everybody knows pace, threes, this, that. Like obviously I think it's more diverse still in college basketball, but um, particularly the way you guys play Princeton and how that's evolved over the last 5 years. Like, when you go from when you were playing to
Yeah.
now, what do you think has changed most in how you guys prioritize things in the offense, or how you guys have kind of built things around this year compared to, when you were going to Final Fours yourself?
Yeah, I think Neo really adapts to what our team needs. It's not like she doesn't fit the girls to our system, right? It's fitting our system to what we feel our strengths are. For example, like in our first couple years, we didn't run Princeton a lot. We didn't have the personnel to run Princeton.
Hmm.
So now we do. So it's a little bit different, but I think Neil does a great job of not trying to fit the team to the system and instead fitting the system to the teams. So, for example, I feel like we do run a lot of the same stuff that we did when I was in school, especially the last few years with the team that we've had. But she's added a lot of 5 out, a lot of NBA style, WNBA style offense to our team, and a lot of ball screens, a lot of isolation situations to allow them space to get a bucket. And I think it's all about, like you said, it's spacing, but do you have the team to have that? And fortunately, we have the last few years, but it's very adaptive. You have to, and Neil does a great job of, like I said, adapting to what our team strengths are. So as much as it is similar style, I think um to what Coach McGraw did, I think Neo has incorporated her own style into what we do. And that's a lot of 5 out. It's a lot of 5 out. It's a lot of ball screen. It's a lot of ISOs, um, which I think is very successful for what the team that we have is spreading the floor out with our personnel and letting our guards get downhill and work and get our posts open looks and when we got to go to a set to get a bucket for somebody, we do it. Everybody's got their own sets that we feel like work for each one of our players. Um, but overall, I think the game has evolved a little bit more to that. I think since I played, that you see a lot more 5 out, a lot of shooting posts, players that can pick and pop. That 5 out, you see a lot more. I feel like of that recently since I played. Um, and a lot more freedom. I think Neil gives a lot of freedom to our players to play with flair and play with pace and make mistakes and all that. I think it's a different. I think the game has evolved in that way too, especially with Neo. But um, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest difference I've seen.
Yeah, no, I could talk about how much I love Princeton all day. I think it's so great at like just teaching reads and making decisions. And I mean, that's what the
Yeah.
game is about.
Mhm.
But Mike, I know I gotta get you out of here. I appreciate your
Yeah.
time. Is there anything you want to shout out before we get out of here?
No, I appreciate being on the podcast. I appreciate you reaching out, and I hope to do it again soon. But I'm like I said, I'm grateful, and I'm excited to see where this season goes.
Yeah, absolutely. To everyone listening and watching, be sure to hit like and subscribe down below. Keep up with all things Notre Dame women's basketball. Enjoy the rest of your day.